Hello everyone, myself Krishna Prasad S, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, MIT Mysore. Welcome you all for the fourth lecturing session on internal combustion engine. In the previous class, we have studied about what are the different types of internal combustion engine, classification of IC engine, then important parts of an IC engine, then 4-stroke petrol engine and the 4-stroke diesel engine, as well as the difference between the 4-stroke petrol and a 4-stroke diesel engine. In this class, we are studying about what is meant by the 2-stroke engine. So, what are the main parts of the 2-stroke engine? That is very much important. The main parts of the 2-stroke engine, it is called engine cylinder. So, we all know that what is meant by the cylinder. Cylinder, it is the heart of the engine in which fuel is going to burn and power is going to develop. So, because of the very high temperature and pressure is going to develop due to the combustion of the fuel. So, here the engine cylinder, it is usually made up of grey cast iron or steel. Then second one, it is called it as a piston. So what is meant by the piston? So piston, it is nothing but it is a cylindrical shaped component which perfectly fits inside the engine cylinder and it compresses the air fuel mixture, and so whatever the power developed due to the combustion of the fuel is transferred from the piston to the crankshaft through the connecting rod. So then what is meant by the piston rings? There are two types of ring. The one, it is called compression ring, another one, it is called oil ring. This compression ring, it is used to obtain the gas tight joint between the piston and the cylinder, and the oil ring, it is used to extract the excess lubricating oil from the cylinder wall and send it back to the oil sump through the oil holes provided in the piston. So next, that means the piston rings are the circumferential grooves provided at the top end of the piston. Okay. So then what is meant by the connecting rod? So connecting rod, it forms a link between the piston and the crankshaft. Okay. Then what is meant by the crank? Crank is a lever that is connected to the connecting rod and the crankshaft. So what is the main function of the connecting rod? It converts the reciprocating motion of the piston into the rotary motion of the crankshaft. And in the terminologies of internal combustion engine, we refer two things. The one, it is called top dead center and the bottom dead center. So top dead center means it is nothing but at the cylinder end, and the bottom dead center means it is nothing but at the crankshaft end. But in case of the 2-stroke engine, it is replaced with another two names. It is called cover end. Cover end, it is nothing but it is the top dead center, and the crank end, it is nothing but bottom dead center. Okay. So and very important one, in case of the 2-stroke engine. Okay, what is meant by the 2-stroke engine? In 2-stroke engine, your working cycle completed in 2 strokes of the piston and only 1 revolutions of the crankshaft. That means here crankshaft has to rotate 0 to 360 degree. Okay, and in case of the 2-stroke engine, your working cycle is completed only in 2 strokes of the piston. So what are the 2 strokes? The one, it is called upward stroke, other one, it is called as the downward stroke. Okay, so then very important one, in case of the 2-stroke engine, it is called, in case of the 2-stroke engine, there is no valves. That means there is no inlet valve and the exhaust valve. In case of the 2-stroke engine, instead of the valves, it is replaced with the names called ports, and there are 3 ports, that is called inlet port, exhaust port and the transfer port. So what is the main function of the inlet port? So through the inlet port, the fresh incoming charge, that means the fresh air fuel mixture enters into the engine crankcase. That is very much important. In case of the 4-stroke petrol engine, the fresh charge of air petrol mixture is directly enters into the engine cylinder, but here the fresh charge of air petrol mixture, it is enters into the engine crankcase. That is very much important. Then what is meant by the transfer port? So the transfer port, it is mainly used to provide the fresh incoming charge from the crankcase into the engine cylinder or the combustion chamber. That is very much important in case of the 2-stroke engine. So I repeat, what is meant by the transfer port? Through the transfer port, the fresh incoming charge from the crankcase, it is enters into the engine cylinder or the combustion chamber. Then what is meant by the exhaust port? So exhaust port means the burned gases are expelled out into the atmosphere through the exhaust port. So these are the 3 ports where generally we need to study in case of the 2-stroke engine. So then what will be the working? Okay, so before going to the working, we need to understand one more part. It is called as the deflector. In case of the 2-stroke engine, a piston is provided with a projection at its top. It is known as the deflector. What is the main function of the deflector? So whatever the fresh incoming charge from the crankcase, it is enters into the combustion chamber, it has to flow through the transfer port as well as the deflector. So that means this deflector helps to deflect the fresh incoming charge, directly moves to the top end of the cylinder, and this will helps to remove the whatever the burnt gases present inside the engine cylinder. Okay, I repeat, what is meant by the deflector? So deflector is it is used to provide the projection at the top end of the piston. So the main function is to deflect the whatever the fresh incoming charge coming through the transfer port, it has to move towards the first top end of the cylinder, and this will helps to remove the whatever the burnt gases present inside the engine cylinder. Observe here the fresh incoming charge coming through the transfer port, it is going to drive out the burnt gases through the exhaust port. So this is called it as the scavenging process. That's why we need to use the deflector. Okay, so next I am moving on to the what is the working of two-stroke petrol engine. Okay, so already told what is meant by the four-stroke petrol engine. So in case of the four-stroke petrol engine, here four-stroke petrol engine works on theoretical Otto cycle, and it is also known it as the constant volume heat addition cycle. Similarly, in case of the two-stroke petrol engine also, here it is working on theoretical Otto cycle and constant volume heat addition cycle. Okay, then here in case of the two-stroke petrol engine, here working cycle completed in 2 strokes of the piston and 1 revolutions of the crankshaft. Then what are the 2 strokes? The one it is called upward stroke, other one it is called downward stroke. Very simple. In case of the upward stroke, here compression and the suction takes place together. Okay, and in case of the downward stroke, power and exhaust stroke going to take place together. So that is called it as the upward stroke and the downward stroke. Okay, so similarly here also the four-stroke petrol engine, the 4 operations are going to take place, that is called suction as well as the compression. Suction as well as the compression takes place together during the upward stroke, and the power as well as the exhaust together going to take place during the downward stroke. That is very much important. Okay, then what is meant by the two-stroke petrol engine? So two-stroke petrol engine, it works on theoretical Otto cycle, and it is also called as the constant volume heat addition cycle. So what happens during the upward stroke? Observe here. So we need to make an assumption in case of the two-stroke petrol engine. So because upward stroke and downward stroke is a continuous process, so assume here already some amount of fresh incoming charge from the crankcase, it is available in the cylinder. Okay, assume that some amount of air fuel mixture already flows through the transfer port and it is available in the combustion chamber. Now during the upward stroke, here piston moves from cover end crank end to the cover end. Okay, I repeat, during the upward stroke, here piston moves from crank end to the cover end. Due to the upward movement of the piston first closes the transfer port. As soon as the piston closes the transfer port, so this will going to stop the flow of fresh incoming charge from the crankcase into the cylinder. Okay, then further upward movement of the piston, it also closes the exhaust port. Okay, further upward movement of the piston, it is also closes the exhaust port, and the compression of air fuel mixture is going to take place inside the engine cylinder. Okay, then when the piston completely reaches the cover end, here exhaust port and the transfer port are completely closed. Observe here, when the piston completely reaches the cover end, transfer port and exhaust port is completely closed and inlet port it gets open. Due to the opening of the inlet port, action is going to create inside the crankcase, hence the fresh air petrol mixture from the inlet port it is enters into the crankcase. So this is regarding to the upward stroke. Okay, I repeat, what is meant by the upward stroke? So during the upward stroke, piston moves from crank end to the cover end. Due to the upward movement of the piston, first it closes the transfer port. So due to the closing of the transfer port, it stops the flow of fresh charge of air petrol mixture from the crankcase into the engine cylinder. Then further upward movement of the piston, it also closes the exhaust port. And when the piston completely reaches the cover end, exhaust port and the transfer ports are completely closed and inlet port gets open. When the inlet port gets open, a suction is going to created inside the crankcase, hence a fresh charge of air petrol mixture it is enters into the engine crankcase. So this is called it as the suction stroke, and when the piston completely reaches the cover end, the compression is going to take place, so that during the upward stroke, here the compression as well as the suction is going to take place together. This is regarding to the upward stroke of the two-stroke engine. Then what is meant by the downward stroke of the two-stroke engine? At the beginning of the downward stroke, high pressure and high temperature of air fuel mixture catches the fire from the spark plug, hence the combustion of air fuel mixture is going to take place. Due to the combustion, power is going to develop and the burnt gases are going to develop inside the engine cylinder. These burnt gases are expands and exerts the force on the movable component called piston, and this pushes the piston from cover end to the crank. Okay, I repeat, at the beginning of the downward stroke, the air fuel mixture catches the fire from the spark plug, hence combustion of the fuel is going to take place and power is going to develop. Due to the combustion, whatever the burnt gases are produced inside the engine cylinder exerts the force on the movable component called piston, and this pushes the piston from cover end to the crank. Due to the downward movement of the piston, first it opens the exhaust port, then it also opens the transfer port. As soon as this top end of the piston uncovers the transfer port, the fresh charge of air fuel mixture from the crankcase enters into the engine cylinder. So this fresh incoming charge will going to move towards the top end of the combustion chamber, and this will going to drive out the whatever the burnt gases present inside the engine cylinder through the exhaust port. So this is regarding to the downward stroke. That means in case of the downward stroke, at the beginning power stroke is going to take place, that means combustion of the fuel is going to takes place, and as soon as the top end of the piston uncovers the transfer port, the fresh incoming charge drives out the burnt gases through the exhaust port. That means exhaust stroke is also going to take place. So this is regarding to the downward stroke. Okay, I repeat, what is meant by the two-stroke engine. So two-stroke engine, it is nothing but cycle completed in 2 strokes of the piston and 1 revolutions of the crankshaft. So in the upward stroke, piston moves from crank end to the cover end. So during the upward movement of the piston, first it closes the transfer port, thereby stopping the flow of fresh charge of air petrol mixture from the crankcase into the combustion chamber. Further upward movement of the piston, it also closes the exhaust port, and the compression of air fuel mixture is going to take place. Then when the piston completely reaches the cover end, transfer port and exhaust ports are completely closed and inlet ports are get open. When the inlet port is open, suction is going to created inside the engine cylinder, hence fresh charge of air petrol mixture enters into the engine crankcase through the inlet port. So this is regarding to the upward stroke. That means during the upward stroke, compression as well as the suction is going to take place together, and during this crankshaft revolves 0 to 180 degree. Then at the beginning of the downward stroke, high pressure and high temperature of air fuel mixture catches the fire from the spark plug, hence combustion of fuel is going to take place, and this pushes the piston from cover end to the crank end and power is going to develop. So as soon as the top end of the piston uncovers the transfer port, the fresh charge of air petrol mixture from the crankcase it enters into the top end of the combustion chamber, and this will drive out the whatever the burnt gases present inside the combustion chamber. So this is regarding to the downward stroke. During the downward stroke, power as well as the exhaust stroke is going to take place together. And driving out of burnt gases through fresh incoming charge, this is called as the scavenging process. Okay, so the driving out of burnt gases through the fresh incoming charge, it is called as the scavenging process. So this is regarding to the two-stroke petrol engine. The next very important topic in case of the internal combustion engine, it is called the difference between the two-stroke engine as well as the four-stroke engine. We already studied what is meant by the two-stroke engine and a four-stroke engine. Okay, so in case of the two-stroke engine, here the working cycle is completed in 2 strokes of the piston, and the 2 strokes are upward stroke and a downward stroke. And in case of the 4-stroke engine, here working cycle completed in 4 different strokes of the piston, and that is called suction stroke, compression stroke, power stroke and exhaust stroke. Apart from that, what are the other differences regarding to the 4-stroke engine and the 2-stroke engine, that is also very much important. So we are listed out the some of the descriptions, so and based on the description we are listed what are the main things are, what are the basis of the parameters we are going to differentiate 4-stroke engine and the 2-stroke engine, that is very much important. So very first thing in case of the description, of the 4-stroke engine and the 2-stroke engine, it is called number of strokes per cycle. So in case of the 4-stroke engine, here number of strokes for it requires 4 different strokes to complete one working cycle, and the 4 different strokes are suction stroke, compression stroke, power and exhaust stroke. And in case of the 2-stroke engine, here working cycle is completed in 2 different strokes, that is called upward stroke and downward stroke. So that is regarding to the first description. Second one, it is called power develop. So we all know that here in case of the 4-stroke engine, working cycle completed in 2 revolutions of the crankshaft, and here working cycle completed in 1 revolutions of the crankshaft. Therefore the power developed here every alternate revolutions of the crankshaft, that means 0 to 720 degree. But in case of the 2-stroke engine, here power developed in every revolutions of the crankshaft. That is very much important in case of the 4-stroke engine and 2-stroke engine. Then what is the number of cycles per minute? How many cycles will going to perform during the power develop? So here the number of cycles per minute in case of the 4-stroke engine, it is n by 2. Here small n represents the number of cycles and capital N represents the crankshaft speed. So here power developed in every alternate revolutions of the crankshaft, therefore number of cycles per minute small n is equal to capital N by 2. So but here power developed in every revolutions of the crankshaft, therefore number of cycles is equal to crankshaft speed. Okay, so that is regarding to the third description, number of cycles per minute. Then fourth one, admission of charge. So what is mean by the charge? Charge, it is nothing but in case of the petrol engine, it is air and petrol. So admission of charge in case of the 4-stroke engine happens during the suction stroke itself. That means during the suction stroke, inlet valve is open and exhaust valve is closed, so fresh incoming charge, it is directly enters into the engine cylinder during the suction stroke during the 4-stroke engine. But what about in case of the 2-stroke engine? So in case of the 2-stroke engine, here inlet port is open and the fresh incoming charge, it is enters into the first to the crankcase, then it is enters into the engine cylinder through the transfer port. That is very much important in case of the 4-stroke engine as well as a 2-stroke engine. So in case of the 4-stroke engine, here the fresh charge, it is directly admitted into the engine cylinder during the suction stroke. But in case of the 2-stroke engine, first it is admitted into the engine crankcase through the inlet port, then it is admitted into the engine cylinder through the transfer port. That is the main difference regarding to the 2-stroke engine and 4-stroke engine. Then exhaust gas removal process. So exhaust gas removal process during the 4-stroke engine, it happens in case of the exhaust stroke. So during the exhaust stroke, exhaust port is open and inlet port is closed, so that whatever the burnt gases present inside the combustion chamber, it is moves out during due to the upward movement of the piston. But what happens in case of the 2-stroke engine? So in case of the 2-stroke engine, here the burnt gases are removed with the help of the fresh incoming charge, and that process, it is called it as the scavenging process. Okay, so what is mean by the scavenging process? It is the process of removal of burnt gases present inside the engine cylinder with the fresh incoming charge that is passes through the transfer port. Okay, so fifth one, it is called driving out of exhaust gases through the scavenging process in case of the 2-stroke engine, and during the exhaust stroke during the 4-stroke engine. Then opening and closing of the valves or ports. So in case of the 4-stroke engine, the inlet valve and exhaust valves are open and closes with the help of valve actuating mechanism, and that valve actuating mechanisms are usually operated with the help of the camshaft. But in case of the 2-stroke engine, here piston itself open and closes the inlet port, transfer port and the exhaust port. That is very much important in case of the 4-stroke engine and 2-stroke engine. I repeat, in case of the 4-stroke engine, inlet valve and exhaust valves are open and closes with the help of the valve actuating mechanism, and that will going to operate with the help of the camshaft, and the camshaft receive the power from the crankshaft. But here the piston itself is open and closes the inlet port, exhaust port and the transfer port. So that is regarding to the 2-stroke engine. Then flywheel. So in case of the 4-stroke engine, the size of the flywheel required, it is very much high. So the size of the flywheel, it is little bit more. Why? Because so whatever the power developed during the power stroke, it is going to store in the flywheel, and the same power it is going to extract it during the compression, suction and the exhaust stroke. So that higher flywheel it is required during the 4-stroke engine. But here lighter flywheel is enough in case of the two-stroke engine, because here there is only two strokes, that is called upward stroke and the downward stroke, and power going to develop in every revolutions of the crankshaft. Therefore heavier flywheel is not required, lighter flywheel is more than enough in case of the two-stroke engine. Then fuel consumption. So fuel consumption in case of the four-stroke engine, it is less compared to two-stroke engine. Why? Because in case of the four-stroke engine, so fresh incoming charge enters into the engine cylinder through the inlet valve during the suction stroke. Then power is going to develop in the power stroke. Then whatever the burnt gases present inside the combustion chamber, it will going to expel out into the atmosphere during the exhaust stroke. But what happens in case of the two-stroke engine? So in case of the two-stroke engine, the fresh incoming charge passes through the transfer port. It is used to expel out the burnt gases. That means here whatever the fuel passes through the transfer port, it may going to mix with the burnt gases and it will going through the exhaust port. That will be the wastage of the fuel happens in case of the two-stroke engine. So that the fuel consumption, it is normally happens more in case of the two-stroke engine compared to the four-stroke engine. Then mechanical efficiency. The mechanical efficiency in case of the four-stroke engine, it is less compared to the two-stroke engine. Why? Because whatever the power developed, it is going to store in the flywheel as well as in the crankshaft. So in order to operate the valve actuating mechanism, that means opening and closing of the inlet valve, it is also extract the power from the crankshaft itself, so that the mechanical efficiency is going to reduces at the engine crankshaft. But what happens in case of the two-stroke engine? In case of the two-stroke engine, here valves are open and closes with the help of the piston itself. Therefore there is no power extraction at the engine crankshaft in case of the two-stroke engine. Therefore mechanical efficiency is little bit more in case of the two-stroke engine compared to the four-stroke engine. Then very much important one, noise. So noise in case of the four-stroke engine, it is less. Why? Because here the exhaust gases are expelled out into the atmosphere due to the opening of the exhaust valve during the exhaust stroke. But what happens in case of the two-stroke engine? Here the fresh incoming charge is going to drive out the burnt gases through the exhaust port. So and the sudden opening and closing of the exhaust port causes the noise in the engine. That's why the noise is more in case of the two-stroke engine. So next, last one, uses. Where we are going to use as the four-stroke engine. So four-stroke engine normally we are going to use in the bike, car, truck and the tippers. But what about the two-stroke engine? So generally two-stroke engines we are going to use in the moped, scooters like RX, TVS XL, as well as even in the diesel generator. So in the diesel generator we are going to use the two-stroke diesel engine. Okay, these are the some of the important differences between the four-stroke engine and two-stroke engine. I repeat, what are the important differences? First one, number of strokes per cycle. Here the 4 strokes are required to complete one working cycle. Here only 2 strokes are required to complete one working cycle. That is suction, compression, power and exhaust. Here upward and downward. And here power developed in case of the 4-stroke engine, it is alternate revolutions of the crankshaft. But here every revolutions of the crankshaft itself power is going to develop in case of the 2-stroke engine. The number of cycles per minute in case of the 4-stroke engine, it is called small n is equal to capital N by 2. Here for every revolutions of the crankshaft power is going to develop, therefore small n is equal to capital N. Then admission of the charge. So admission of the charge in case of the 4-stroke engine, it happens during the suction stroke itself. But here admission of the charge first admitted into crankcase, then it is enters into the engine cylinder. So exhaust gas removal, the exhaust gas removal, it is drives out into the atmosphere with the help of the exhaust stroke itself. But here it happens in case of the with the help of the scavenging process. Then valve and the ports. Here inlet and exhaust valves are open and closes with the help of the valve actuating mechanism that will going to operate with the help of the camshaft. But here piston itself open and closes the inlet port, exhaust port and transfer port. Then flywheel, the requirement of the flywheel, it is heavier in case of the 4-stroke engine because of the 4 strokes, and here the requirement of the flywheel, it is comparatively less in case of the 2-stroke engine because of only the 2-stroke, that is called downward stroke and the upward stroke. Then consumption of the fuel is less in case of the 4-stroke engine, but consumption of the fuel is more because during the scavenging process the fresh incoming charge going to mix with the burnt gases and expel out into the atmosphere, so that will be the wastage of the fuel during the 2-stroke engine. Then mechanical efficiency is less because here the crankshaft power we are extracting to operate the inlet valve and exhaust valve during the valve actuating mechanism, but here piston itself is open and closes the inlet port, transfer port and the exhaust port, therefore mechanical efficiency is comparatively more. Then noise is less in case of the 4-stroke engine, because here in 2-stroke engine exhaust port suddenly open and closes, that's why it makes the noise in case of the 2-stroke engine. Uses car, truck, bike, tipper. In case of the 4-stroke engine, here mopeds and a scooter as well as the diesel generators are the some of the examples of the 2-stroke engine. The last topic regarding to the internal combustion engine, it is called formulas. So the formulas, it is very much important during the numericals, and in the formulas first we need to understand some of the basic concepts like what is meant by the mean effective pressure, indicated power, brake power, frictional power, mechanical efficiency, thermal efficiency and specific fuel consumption. Very first important thing, it is called what is meant by the mean effective pressure. So mean effective pressure, it is nothing but a mean or average pressure acting on the piston during the power stroke. So what happens during the power stroke? During the power stroke, inlet and exhaust valves are closed, and at the beginning of the power stroke the air fuel mixture catches the fire from the spark plug, hence power is going to develop. So due to the development of the power, so here the fuel is going to completely burn, hence high pressure and high temperature of burnt gases exerts the force on the piston, and that pushes the piston from top dead center to the bottom dead center. And how much amount of pressure is going to exert on the piston, that is called as the mean effective pressure. So in order to know what is meant by the mean effective pressure, we need to conduct the one experiment with the help of the indicator diagram. So in that indicator diagram, for the development of the indicator diagram, we are going to use the spring, and that spring it is connected to the one needle. Okay, and the value of the spring, it is called it as the S, and small l, it is called it as the length of the indicator diagram, and small a, it is called it as the area of the indicator diagram. And the formula what we are going to use for the calculation of the mean effective pressure, it is called S into A by L, and the unit for the mean effective pressure is bar, and mean effective pressure, it is denoted by capital P suffix M. So then what is mean by the S? S, it is nothing but the spring value of the spring used in the indicator diagram, and it is denoted by bar per centimeter. Then what about the L? L, it is nothing but the length of the indicator diagram in centimeter, and A, it is called it as the area of the indicator diagram in centimeter square. Okay, so apply here bar per centimeter into centimeter square divided by centimeter. Everything is cancelled out, so only left out it is called bar, and the mean effective pressure, it is expressed in bar, and it is denoted by capital P suffix M, that is called PM. So this is regarding to the mean effective pressure. So then second one, what is mean by the indicated power? So indicated power, it is nothing but the total power developed inside the engine cylinder due to the combustion of the fuel, that is called it as the indicated power. So then how to calculate the indicated power? Indicated power, it is usually denoted by IP. Then the unit of the indicated power, obviously in kilowatts or watts or kilojoules. Okay, so here IP is equal to power produced by the piston per cycle into number of cycles per minute. We all know that what is meant by the power. So power is nothing but work by time, right? That's why we have taken here power produced by the piston per cycle into number of cycles per minute we have considered, and here power produced by the piston per cycle, I can write it as work done by the piston per cycle. So we know that what is meant by the work. Work, it is nothing but force into displacement. So what is mean by the displacement? So displacement, it is nothing but stroke length. That means here the piston is travel from TDC to BDC, that is called it as the displacement, that is called stroke length. And we can also take force, it is nothing but pressure into area into L. So here pressure, it is nothing but mean effective pressure, then I can take it as PM. A, it is nothing but area of the cylinder, and L, it is called stroke length. Okay, so here work produced by the piston, I will directly take it as PM into A into L, and number of cycles per minute I will take it as small n, and per minute we are considering that is 60. Okay, so this is regarding with the watts. If you want to take in kilowatts, then it is nothing but Pm L into A into small n into 60 into 1000. This is called kilowatts. Okay, so then what is the formula IP for 4-stroke engine? We all know that in case of the 4-stroke engine, the number of cycles is equal to engine crankshaft speed divided by 2. That is small n is equal to capital N by 2. Therefore, now formula becomes Pm L into A into N by 2 into 60 into 1000 kilowatts. This is the indicated power for 4-stroke engine. Similarly, indicated power for 2-stroke engine, here small n is equal to capital N. Therefore, IP is equal to Pm L into A into N into 60 into 1000. So this is regarding to the indicated power for 2-stroke engine. Then next one, what is mean by the brake power? So brake power, it is nothing but it is the net power available at the engine crankshaft, that is called it as the brake power. Then how to measure the brake power? The brake power going to measure by applying the brake at the engine crankshaft. So in order to know how much amount of brake power is required, we are having the one experimental setup. In the experimental setup, engine crankshaft, it is connected to the dead weight. So that dead weight, it is having the weight W. By increasing the weight W, the speed of the engine crankshaft is going to reduce it. At what speed, at what weight, so the engine crankshaft is completely stopped. That will be considered for the calculation of the brake power. Okay, so what is mean by the brake power? Brake power formula, it is nothing but 2 pi Nt by 60, and unit is again kilowatt. Okay, then how to calculate the torque? We all know that torque, it is nothing but force into radius, but here we are applying the weight W. Therefore, that is 9.81 into W into R divided by 1000. That is we are going to obtain in kilonewton per meter. Okay, so net power available at the engine crankshaft, that is called as the brake power. So in order to calculate the brake power, we are connecting the engine crankshaft to the dead weight. By increasing the weight, here the engine crankshaft is going to stop, and here T represents the torque developed and R represents the radius of the brake drum. Okay, so here and the W, it is called as the net weight applied on the brake drum. So here W in terms of kg. In order to convert kg into Newton, we are multiplying with 9.81, then it will become Newton. Okay, then by divided by 1000, then it will become kilonewton. Okay, so once we calculated the torque by knowing the radius of the brake drum and what is the amount of weight applied at the pan, then we are going to know what is meant by the T. Once we know the T, then apply the formula BP is equal to 2 pi Nt by 60. Okay, what is the N? N, it is nothing but engine crankshaft speed, that is in terms of revolution per minute. Last one, what is meant by the frictional power? So frictional power, it is nothing but it is the difference between indicated power minus brake power, that is also in terms of kilowatt. We all know that whatever the power developed due to the combustion of the fuel, it is going to transfer to the engine crankshaft. But here some of the movable components like piston, crankshaft, connecting rod, these are all available. So due to the friction between these moving parts, the power is going to lost, and that is called it as the frictional power. And the frictional power, it is nothing but total power developed inside the engine cylinder minus net power available at the engine crankshaft. That is called it as the frictional power, that is IP minus BP. is equal to kilowatt. Sorry, IP minus BP. So, and it is expressed in kilowatt. Next one, what is meant by the mechanical efficiency? So, mechanical efficiency, it is nothing but brake power by indicated power into 100, or it is nothing but directly I can write it as BP by IP into 100. This is regarding to the mechanical efficiency. So, mechanical efficiency, it is nothing but how much amount of power is available at the engine crankshaft to the how much amount of power is developed due to the combustion of the fuel, that is called it as the mechanical efficiency. And the mechanical efficiency is do not having any unit because kilowatt and kilowatt is going to cancel out. Therefore, mechanical efficiency is nothing but brake power by indicated power. The next it is called thermal efficiency, and the thermal efficiency, it is nothing but power produced divided by heat supplied into 100. For example, if you are considering the brake power, then power produced is nothing but BP and heat supplied it is MF into CV into 100. Here BP it is called brake power and that is in terms of kilowatt, and MF it is nothing but mass of the fuel supplied and that is in terms of the kg, and CV it is nothing but calorific value, and the calorific value it is usually represented by kilojoule per kg. Here kg is going to cancel out and here kilojoule and kilowatt are remains the same. Therefore, brake thermal efficiency is equal to BP MF into CV into 100. Similarly, if you are taking for indicated power, then formula become IP by MF into CV into 100. So, this is regarding to the thermal efficiency for brake power as well as the indicated power. So, these are some of the main formulas what we are going to use in case of the internal combustion engine. So, before going to the numericals, so some of the basic formulas like what is mean by the mean effective pressure. So, mean effective pressure it is nothing but mean or average pressure acting on the piston during the power stroke, and that is Pm is equal to S into A by L. L it is called spring value of the spring used in indicator diagram, area is called area of the indicator diagram, L it is called length of the indicator diagram, and it is expressed in bar and it is denoted by Pm. Similarly, indicated power it is nothing but total power produced inside the engine cylinder and it is denoted by IP and expressed in kilowatt, and that will be is equal to plan by 60 into 100 in terms of kilowatt. So, for the 4-stroke engine, number of cycles is equal to capital N by 2, then PMLA into capital N by 2 into 60 by 1000. For 2-stroke engine, number of cycles is equal to engine crankshaft speed, that is PMLA into N by 60 into 1000. For the brake power, net power available at the engine crankshaft, and the formula is 2 pi Nt by 60. So, torque is equal to 9.81 into W into R divided by 1000. So, that in terms of kilonewton per meter. Then frictional power it is nothing but IP minus BP. Then mechanical efficiency it is nothing but, so BP by IP into 100. Then thermal efficiency is nothing but power produced by heat supply. So, for brake thermal efficiency BP by MF into CV into 100, and indicated thermal efficiency IP is equal to MF by CV into 100. So, last one specific fuel consumption, it is nothing but the rate of fuel consumed divided by power produced into 100. So, this is usually represented in kg per kilowatt hour. So, this is the unit for specific fuel consumption. So, this is regarding to the internal combustion engine. So, then we are moving on to the numericals.